r/Airbnb hosts. Red Crema Soda says, guests keep asking if they can see my place in person. Does this happen to you? I host long-term stays in a major city. My listing has very clear photos, a detailed description and dozens of 5-star reviews. Guests keep making booking requests asking if they can see my space. It's been an ongoing issue and is beginning to frustrate me. I always decline these requests. Probably 50% of requests ask for a viewing and a discount. I just received 2 inquiries in the last 24 hours alone with a request for a viewing. What I don't understand is 1. Why do potential guests feel it's okay to take time out of my day just for a prospective viewing? I'm not a real estate agent. 2. What could the guest possibly want to see that isn't covered in a past review? If several dozen people have also been happy with their stays, why would you be different? I suppose a viewing could be a way to negotiate off of Airbnb, but I don't do discounts. 3. Why would my listing be empty, and if it's occupied, why would a current guest be willing to show it? Frustrated, I sent this response to a guest who asked for a viewing. I unfortunately can't offer viewings. To frame things from a different perspective, how would you feel if I showed the apartment to someone else while you were staying there? He said he had no idea my place was booked. Grandpa's Spell says, if I were looking for a long-term stay and had been burned in the past, I may hope for reassurance about the property. I don't think I'd offer viewings, but you may want to record a video walkthrough, very informal, as if you were FaceTiming them, and send that over when they make this request. Miss Money 2U says, they want to make sure your place is accurately represented. A long-term stay is a bigger investment and much harder to resolve than a 3-day stay. I've been lucky enough to end up in only one place that wasn't what was advertised. Made it work, but I sure as shit wouldn't book that place again. Responsibly Am 3930 says, people can make do/manage with less than ideal settings for a week or 2. But set me up somewhere that doesn't work for me for months at a time. That's a huge no. We rented a place sight unseen one time that looked truly roomy and comfortable online and in the floor plan, but I took one step inside and had a panic attack. BC the space was way too small for us, our kids, and our stuff. Thankfully they had a larger unit. BC I would have been miserable. I can feel my throat tightening up just thinking about it. I think you are being unrealistic to expect people to book for long-term stays without seeing it first. They are considering their options and they want to compare yours to others that they are allowed to see. It's not an unreasonable request. If that doesn't work for you, just say no. But it's not unreasonable for them to ask. Dr. Bella says, I'm a 40-year-old female college professor who rents for 3 months over the summer to do my research. I have all 5-star reviews. Last summer, I rented a house for $3,500 a month. Looked cute in the pictures. All 5-star reviews. When I got there, the place smelled like cat piss, and the mattress in the bedroom was propped up on 8 paint cans. They advertised a hot tub, but there wasn't one. For $3,500 a month. It's not like you can get your money back and move. There are no decent places left that are open for 3 solid months at that point. I ask for walkthroughs on everything now. They are getting a super quiet guest and 3 months worth of money. If the host says no, I find another place. Ads can be misleading and people leave 5-star reviews if the host is nice and they feel bad. That's what happened with the cat piss place. Really nice young man struggling to raise a family. I did not review because I couldn't bear to frick him over, so I guess that makes me part of the problem. He did buy me a box spring, so there's that. Travel 8053 says, things are often different in person than photos can relay. How do I know this? Because I have arrived at places that were worse than the photos conveyed. had bad smell / moldy odor, bugs etc. You don't know until you're there in person, which is unfortunately how this all works. I don't see a problem with showing the place unless it's booked. r/Airbnb hosts. Raya 231 says, guest placed hidden camera in unit. I received a message from someone claiming to be the ex-wife of a previous guest of mine. She said the guest had placed a hidden camera in the unit and recorded other guests who had stayed there. She claims to have these videos and wants to send them to me. Is this some sort of blackmail or scam attempt? What steps should I take? Has anyone gone through anything similar? I'm worried my account will be suspended or I'll face legal troubles if this is true. Twillian says, don't go to Reddit, call the police. Does it matter if it is real or a scam? Either way, you need the police. Didritus says, the first thing would be to go check your unit for cameras. If this offsite woman has possession of video, it probably means the camera is transmitting using your Wi-Fi. So you need to detect everything connected to your Wi-Fi. Domestic Plant Lover says, you need to file a police report. No question. Either way, scam or real, the police need to be the ones involved. If you ask for them and there's child nudity, you can be charged. You don't want to see or have them. Capt Blackfoot says, what others said, go to the police. But also check your Wi-Fi to see if the camera was connected and when it connected to your network. Crankayanka 638 says, first thing, go change your Wi-Fi password like right effing now. Doing that will disconnect anything connected to it. It will be a pain in the butt to reconnect your devices, but you need to do it. Take a screenshot of everything connected to your Wi-Fi before you do and compare after. This will give you an idea if something was surreptitiously added to your network. Then file a police report. I would also sweep the house for anything, especially decorations or knickknacks, that have possibly been moved. This part may be the most delicate part. It's up to you if you want to warn the guests that stayed after they did. It's lot I know, but it has to done. Good luck. Lacquer Crisp says, I think you tell her that if there is anything illegal the photographs disclose, she should take them to the police. If they are just candid home movies with nothing illegal, then they are just that. It in no way helps you in either case. Nothing good can come from you having home movies of strangers. Heartontherin83 says, and this is why my husband does a sweep of any Airbnb we are staying at with a device he bought off Amazon. This is creepy AF. Dileton Test says, I change the password on my guest network after every guest to include their name or an abbreviation of their name and the first 3 to 4 digits of their phone number so they know it's specific to them. Never thought about the idea that I'd be thwarting some hidden device. Worldly Wedding 7305 says, police and a lawyer. Corridal says, police now. Lung Dung Silver Dude says, check your network for a randomly connected device. Also there has to be power. Check your power outlets. Change your Wi-Fi username and password. Indy50 says, is she asking for money to send them to you or just wants your address? Then I definitely think scam or blackmail. Or she could just be using this to get addresses. I'm with the others on the police and looking for cameras, etc. r/Airbnb hosts. Whatever I think 11 says, guest behavior question, picked food out of my garden and had over 30 people over. How would you review? I'm new to hosting and recently hosted a group of 4. They kindly asked if they could have a few people over after a kids sports game. I believe they invited the whole team. On our in-camera we counted at least 30 people. We hadn't specified what a few was and kindly asked them to have the people leave. We got calls from neighbors saying there were unwatched kids in the street and cars were parked in our grass to accommodate all of the people who had arrived. They picked every single strawberry in our garden. We do not specify not to eat food out of our garden, but since it is a second home we assumed it would be common sense. I'm aware that we need to be more specific in asking how many a few is and having better house rules regarding what food is available to eat. My question for people who have been doing this for a while is, how would you review them? I'm not even sure what to say, or if they were at fault, or if I was due to not being clear enough about guest expectations. Miss Curmudgeonly says, a few is generally understood to be 3. In any circumstances though, few would never translate to 30 people. That's ridiculous. It's also ridiculous that they ate all the strawberries from your garden. I'm not a host, only a guest, but unless I had permission, I'd never take anything from someone's garden. They sound like crap guests. Review them honestly. Invited 30 people over, parked in grass, let kids play in the street creating a dangerous situation. Lady in public says, we have a garden on the rooftop patio. The first year they picked everything, the lemons, the strawberries, the cherry tomatoes, the peppers. The second year we only planted things for the guests, and planted double planters of cherry tomatoes, peppers, and herbs. Tons of fresh herbs. The guests love it and use them and rarely take everything in a single stay. I love plants and watching things grow into delicious morsels, but if you didn't have a sign, it's not the kids' fault. You can always charge for uninvited guests and add a cleaning fee and add in a box of local picked strawberries for your freezer. But I bet the kids love them, and some kids probably haven't had the luxury of a garden. I would send a fee. OK indication 7876 says, not only do you need to be specific about your garden, but you need to add to rules guest of guest policy. These past guests took advantage of you being new and vague. Go read longer host rules, learn, and never think guest will have common sense. Whatever I think 11 says. To clarify, we said a few people was okay. We didn't expect that to be 30. Our hosting and house rules say no parties. However, I'm not sure if I'm thinking 30 is excessive when they said a few and said the people would only be outside. Many of the individuals were going inside the home to use the bathroom. I feel upset and like they abused the phrase a few, but I can understand that could mean different things to different people and we didn't clarify what a few meant. Whatever I think 11 says. Thank you. These comments are helpful. I feel like we are going to have a list of rules 20 pages long. In the past, guests brought our yard furniture into the house and it scratched the floors. Now we state things like, don't rearrange the furniture or bring outdoor furniture inside or inside furniture outside. Stuff that we didn't expect to happen has. Do we need to specify things like, don't pick the flowers, don't park on grass, don't eat in bed and spill on and stain bedding, don't use metal spoons on non-stick pans, don't cut on countertop without a cutting board, etc. In our house rules we state it is our home and ask guests to treat it with respect. How much common sense stuff do we need to spell out for people? How do we even anticipate everything guests might do? Impressive Returns says, dang, did you get screwed over? In your review, be honest unlike your guests. Don't you have no parties in your liaising? Did they trash the place? Or were they respectful? Guess you learned a lesson. Guest taking advantage of hosts has become a big problem. We have something similar in our city, where a house was Airbnb for the weekend for 5 guests. They turned it into a huge party with 150 guests. They were selling tickets, $25. Within 45 minutes 9 people were shot with 5 or 6 dying. Next city over, same thing happened. You dodged a bullet. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.